Hey, so the other day I was speaking to a recent college grad who for the last 2 months has really been having a tough time breaking into the marketing industry. Now, we've spoke a couple times before this, and one thing became very clear to me, and that is that this kid was on point, right? He knew his stuff. He was a bit of a futurist himself. He knew about AR and VR and how that was going to change the landscape of marketing. So, I really became quite a fan of this kid. He was really smart. But one thing also became apparent to me, right? Provided that he was having this difficulty landing a job, whenever I would ask him, hey, did you attend that networking event we talked about? Or hey, did you apply for that job we highlighted? He'd always have a masterful excuse as to why he didn't attend the event, why he didn't apply for the role. So by the end of our last call, I realized although he continued to say that he was suffering from a lack of motivation, his real problem was a lack of follow through. And this really is a common misunderstanding. So let me explain. Simply put, motivation represents your reasons for pursuing a particular outcome, whereas follow through, by my own definition, represents the physical active process of manifesting a specific outcome. So motivation really is in the mind, whereas follow through is in the practice. And despite the inherent connection between the two, they both require different and distinct approaches. And confusing these two phases can really leave you stagnant. Now, digging a bit deeper, the development of sustainable motivation will require a degree of self-exploration, reflection, and emotional anchoring. Now, if you spend too much time doing this, what's going to happen? You'll begin to overthink, right? And you don't want to do that because that'll impair your ability to follow through. Alternatively, if you take action without strong reasons or a strong why, you'll waver at the first point of resistance, and you don't want that either. So when we're talking about follow through, you should already have your reasons and your why set in stone, right? You should have a mission mindset at that point and ready to take action. And it's my belief that there's 3 key considerations when we're talking about follow through, and they are convenience, a piecemeal offensive, and I created a video actually some time ago about the piecemeal offensive, so feel free to check that out after this. And you want an accountability partner, so you want to make things convenient for you, right? If you make it convenient, you'll most likely follow through. If you can break things up into smaller pieces, smaller goals, smaller bits, right, through the piecemeal offensive, that'll help you out. And finally, you want an accountability partner, someone to hold you in check, someone that'll make you keep your word to yourself. Now, here's a personal story to really help illustrate this framework. So last November, I was about 20 pounds heavier than I am right now. And much unlike a lot of the lucky ones out there, I'm not one of those guys where the weight evenly distributes around my body. No, it went all stomach, right? And the funny thing about it is that I didn't even notice it. This was the first time in my life that weight kind of snuck up on me, right? I always heard about that. I'm like, how didn't you know you were gaining weight? No, I didn't know. and I found out because I had to give a talk at a college. And as I was putting on my suit, and this particular suit was tailor-made, as I was putting my arm in the blazer sleeve, what happened? So tight, right? I couldn't even move. I couldn't extend it. It was even worse when I put on the slacks, right? So this was a huge issue. So somehow, some way, I ignored it and just kind of worked my way through it and gave the talk, thankfully. But when I got home, I knew I had to make a change. So one of the first things I did was I made a financial investment, right? I purchased a gym membership, right? Put some money down, right? Now I'm in the door. But along this framework, the first thing I did for convenience was I began to shower and lay my workout clothes next to my bed every single night, right? The night before. Just so when I wake up, I can pop up and go straight to the gym. I don't gotta worry about finding the right clothes or making sure the shirt matched the pants. I don't gotta do all that. I'm just ready to go, right? So convenience. I made it convenient for me to follow through. When it comes to the piecemeal offensive, right? Breaking things up, I broke my workout out, right? I didn't go into this saying I'm gonna work out for an hour and do some heavy weight. Nope. I did one thing at a time. The first thing I started doing was working out for 30 minutes straight treadmill. And I did that for about a month, and then I tacked on another 15 minutes and then another one, and I just kept building until I got to a full hour and a full workout. So I didn't force anything on myself. Again, I really developed the habit of showing up, really developing the mental and physical toughness and stamina to really sustain myself. So I felt that was a really healthy way of approaching it for me. And then third and finally, I had an accountability partner. I had a friend who I really trusted, who I didn't want to let down. I really respected them, as a matter of fact. And I knew if I told them I was going to do something, I didn't want to break my word to them. And I just know how my mind works. So I don't like to let people down. So I use that knowledge of self as leverage to make sure that I, keep to my regimen. So I got all three of those things in place. And lo and behold, after what I want to say, maybe 3 months or so, I was down to 20. Right, and I was able to, fit into the suits and everything. I was able to save money because I couldn't afford to buy another slate of suits. So I was able to get through it. But again, that was through using those three elements, right? Making it more convenient for me to follow through, breaking things up so I'm not overwhelmed, as well as putting someone in a position to really help me keep my word to myself. So as I recommended to my friend who seemed to be having a hard time transitioning from the motivation phase to the follow-through phase, begin to ask yourself, when you think about the next goal you wish to accomplish, how can I make it more convenient for me to follow through? Right? What can I do? Is it something I can do every night? Is there something I can do every morning just to ensure that I'm able to follow through on what I'm trying to accomplish? Secondly, how can I break this major goal into smaller pieces that I can check off one by one, right? Maybe setting some positive reinforcement. Very important. And finally, who can I put in position to make sure I get out of my own way? Right? So I don't come up with a magnificent excuse that can get me out of the game, right? Because at a certain point, it's going to be you against you. And you want to make sure you got somewhere there just to wake you up every now and then to say, hey, it's been a while since you worked out, right? Get back in the gym, right? And that's what I knew I needed, and that's what I got. So think about those three things as you continue to move through a life of accomplishment. So hopefully this advice was useful to you. Hopefully it raised your awareness of the distinction between motivation and follow through. And of course, I'm hoping that this video, as well as the others that I've produced and will continue to produce, help you get well on your way to accomplishing your dreams. So with that, I wish you well. Take care.